Hi everyone! Today I'll be talking a little bit about what emotional clearing is and healing through creative expression. In a nutshell, what I've offered the community is called an emotional clearing guide. What that is The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron mixed with Carl Jungian psychology, shadow work, merged together to create this third thing, which is expressing your darker emotions through creativity, whether it's art or music or dance, whatever. It's expressing those dark parts of you. Dark meaning unconscious, suppressed, disowned, denied, rejected aspects of yourself that you hate unconsciously, that you keep repeating over and over and over, and it's mirrored back to you from the other. My job is to assist people in navigating their darker emotions. Essentially, my entire path has been figuring out how to feel and how to heal through creative expression and navigating my depths of my soul, my emotional body. So, through my healing journey, I've suddenly stepped back and realized that is how I've healed myself and continue to heal myself, is expressing my darker emotions through art or music. Now, why should you express your darker emotions? Wouldn't that just reinforce them, and since whatever you focus on, you create your own reality? No. If you keep focusing on negativity, well, yes, of course, your external reality is going to be negative. But when you have trauma that happens, and subconscious beliefs and programs that keep running the show, and you're living in hell, and you're emotionally always triggered, then this process, my services, would be a good idea for you. And I'm not a salesperson, I'm simply spreading the awareness of what emotional clearing and healing the emotional body is useful for. So you can do these things on your own, regardless if I'm here or not assisting you. Now, to start, we have the physical body. We have 4 bodies or more beyond time and space. The physical body, of course, is what we see on the physical third dimension. Outside the physical body, you have the mental body, the emotional body, and then the spiritual body. A lot of clairvoyants and psychics can see all of the bodies, and they actually can see every little thing happening within each field. For some of us, we are deep feelers, so deep empathy and being able to feel is a gift and a curse. So my entire healing process has been clearing my own emotional body. Now, when you think of, because a lot of us are waking up, especially the Indigo generation or the Pluto and Scorpio generation, of the realization that we're all one. Now, if this is true, which I'm an advocate for this, yes, this reality, is since we're basically living in the emotional dark age, we're all learning how to feel. And we're all clearing for the collective, whether we choose to believe we're all one with everyone or not. A lot of people don't really understand this concept because they think they're separate from everybody else. Well, I'm me, and I'm separate from you. What I'm trying to say is the waters on the planet, the rivers, the lakes, the seas, the oceans, are dirty and polluted, and the animals are dying, and the plant life and the sea life is in distress and is sick. That is literally a direct reflection of our own human collective's sick and dirty emotional body. If you don't believe this, take a look around. Everybody is in pain on some level, because we all, whether we choose to be conscious of it or not, chose to assist with this great shift of consciousness. This whole age of Aquarius is hard because we're all waking up to the realization that we all are one, that we all need to be more interconnected with all living things on this planet. Mother Earth is a living entity, as are you, and she is a reflection of you. So if she's in utter chaos and she's in pain, All humans are in pain, but we've all volunteered to come down here to assist with this great healing and this great shift of consciousness. So again, I'm passionate about teaching the connection between the planet's emotional body, or bodies of water, and your own emotional body. It's a mirror. We're all mirrors. There's lots of information on the holographic universe theory. Greg Braden goes into detail about it. I believe this very strongly. So personally, because I love the earth so much and I want it to heal, as I want the human collective's consciousness to heal, because that's why I came down here, is to assist with this great change. My job is to assist people on how to feel, how to really get in touch with their emotions, the full spectrum of them, and to really be no longer afraid to feel their darker emotions. And when I say darker, I mean the lower half of the spectrum where most people don't want to be, because to be a human when you're in pain, like if you touch an oven or a stove, it's hot so you pull away. Most people don't like to feel pain. But it's kind of necessary to learn for your soul's expansion. So you got like happiness and great joy and ecstatic bliss like at the very top, and then it just keeps going lower until the very bottom. You get like despair and suicidal thoughts, and this is where a lot of people are stuck, is they feel very, very deeply, and they have an emotional pattern where they're a little bit happy and they get better and they start healing, and then some subconscious trigger or trauma from childhood brings them back down to the lower depths of their waters, and they're stuck and they don't know how to shift out of this like continual dropping down to this negativity, and they don't know how to get through it. Now, I'm not saying if you're some enlightened person you're never going to feel sadness. That's complete bullshit. No, it's being conscious of all of your emotions and seeing it as a gift and not a curse. To be a human is to experience all the full range of emotions. So again, some of us are more emotional than others, meaning we're more sensitive and we go often to the depths of our emotions more often than some people, which is again a gift and a curse. But we live in a society where people don't teach us from childhood how to express our emotions. From children, we're told to shut up, quit crying, quit bitching, quit moaning, stop doing that, stop being yourself. Why are you being such a baby? Or, why, whatever your parents said to you when you're a young child, it's very traumatic because you're just you, and at first you think you're free to be whoever you want and express yourself fully, but then the older you get and the more you're told to shut up and suppress yourself, you start suppressing your very individuality. You start suppressing your true authentic feelings. And this is what creates trauma as adults. You're basically stuck as a small child emotionally, and most people don't grow outside of that. So literally we have like 55-year-old adults walking around as if they're still a 7-year-old child because they haven't processed or cleared or healed or looked at some of these darker emotions that are haunting them. That being said, as children, they have it right. Like really small children that are free to be themselves, what do? They fall on the ground, they scream and cry, they fully express their emotions, no matter how dark or happy or sad. They are the totality of who they are, and they're perfect. And that's how we all should be like, is like small children, and fully express the emotional state we're in and not hold back, because that's what creates disease in the body, is not expressing how we really feel. So that, again being said, here are some ways where you can actually dive into that, which is basically, again, shadow work mixed with the artist way. The next time you're triggered, you're in a triggered state, meaning you're going through some kind of deep dark depression, or you feel very sad, or you're in the lower spectrum. Instead of doing what everyone else does in society that's unawake or unconscious of their true feelings, instead of drinking your pain away or eating it away or having sex with random people or literally numbing out and watching hours and hours of TV and disassociating, instead of distracting yourself from feeling, which is again what everyone in society does pretty much, I want you to sit and feel the emotion. Feel it. It's got a voice, it's got a story. It wants you to see something. It's, especially if that same exact heavy emotion comes up for you over and over and over throughout your adult life, it's something that wants to be seen. It's your subconscious going, hey, you need to look at something for integration. The cool thing about this process, which I'm offering, and which you could do anytime alone, is sitting with your emotion and literally closing your eyes and asking it, if you were a being, I want you to step forth and I want you to tell me where you came from. And some people are very visual people, some people are hearing people, some people are just feeling people or just knowing people. But in any of these four avenues, something's going to answer you. You're going to hear a voice that says, this is your childhood self from 5 years ago when you just wanted to play with your friend and she completely abandoned you and told you, I don't even want to be your friend anymore. It's got a story, and the first answer that you hear or see or know or feel is the correct answer. Your higher self immediately answers you back. And then I want you to draw or write or play a song about the emotional state you're in. You could dance it out, you could sing it out, you could write a dark poem, you could draw a really heavy picture, you could paint using like blacks and reds and colors you normally wouldn't use, but I'm giving everyone full permission to feel. This video is about like, maybe this is something that you could take to give yourself permission to fully feel and integrate this emotion. You don't have to be afraid of your emotions. You don't have to be afraid of your own mind and your own subconscious. It's there to teach you something. It wants you to look at something. It's not some evil thing that you have to be afraid of your own body and your mind and your spirit. It's something to literally look at, to learn about, to make your unconscious conscious. That's what shadow work is making all the subconscious beliefs and the programs and the things you hate about yourself that you shoved behind you in your subconscious, to pull them out and make them conscious for awareness and integration. And guess what? Another thing that's really cool about this is when you make the unconscious conscious, or your shadows aware, there's gold in the shadow. There's gifts and talents and abilities that you uncover simultaneously when you uncover your shadow. So currently I'm obsessed with shadow work and healing through creative expression. So I give you permission to feel and feel your authentic true emotions. I'm talking, if you're so triggered and you're in the space of you're feeling suicidal and you have the most darkest thoughts, I want you to really take out that piece of paper if you're a writer and write about how fucking shitty you feel and how you want to kill yourself. Write it all out. Let it be released and keep writing, and you'll eventually see at the end of your writing, or you'll feel some kind of release when you express it. It leaves the body when you express this emotion, and you heal. You feel lighter when you feel it, express it, it leaves the body. When you do not express trauma, or when you're triggered, for example, say I'm a 5-year-old kid and my mother just beat the shit out of me. And I have so much pain that I'm like, it's everywhere. My pain is physically hurting. I'm emotionally hurting because my own mother just beat the shit out of me. I'm hurting on every level. If I don't express that pain I'm feeling in the moment, and I just stuff it down and don't cry and just, that energy was just created, and energy needs to be expressed. If it's denied and suppressed, guess what? It's gonna come back out eventually. And that's what we learn as kids in this society. And the more we feel that pain, the more we shove it back in our subconscious and shove it away and suppress it, the more the elephant grows until it becomes the shadow. And it completely, when we're triggered, it comes out and it fully takes over to where you would do, say, and act on things you normally would never do, because you let this emotional energy build and build and build to where it becomes a shadow and it takes over. That's why when people use certain substances after they've experienced emotional trauma, they kept shoving down their emotional trauma. Like, for instance, if your parent passed away and you feel so much grief and pain, and instead of expressing it through art or just generally expressing it, they drink and they keep suppressing that grief and pain away, then all of a sudden you're gonna snap one day, and that grief and that pain that you've suppressed all these years, and you've never dealt with the loss of the parent that you lost or whoever, it's gonna come out full force. And it's part of the unconscious, has this immense power that can take over your whole life. So isn't it better to directly look at your pain and your suffering head on the moment it's created, versus letting it build for years and all of a sudden it becomes this giant shadow, and now it's a giant issue and everybody around you doesn't want to be around you because you've created this shadow, this elephant in the room that people can see and feel, by the way. It's kind of hilarious that we haven't been taught this for so long, and people are walking around like, you can almost see their shadows. You can almost see immediately. I mean, you can see the pain and suffering in people's eyes. You could see the last 30 years of a heavy drinker. They're all wrinkled and just torn back looking. I mean, but you can see that's all from pain. We all have scars, and we all try and hide, but there is no hiding. And the more I look at my own shit, and the more I clear my own shit and really express my own way I'm feeling authentically, whether it's suicidal in the moment or happy, the more I don't have any shame. I don't have anything to hide. I'm not embarrassed that I'm gonna break down and cry in front of people. Like, I'm becoming as if I'm a small child, and I have temper tantrums in the moment, and I'm really feeling intensely in the moment. I'm no longer ashamed. I'm just going to really be authentic and feel what I feel in the moment. And people like me have been diagnosed with, bipolar and severe depression, but all of these are labels. And you know how many thousands of people are on medications? Not because there's something wrong with them, because they don't know how to feel, and they don't know how to give themselves permission to feel. I mean, what is it, millions of people today are on antidepressants just because they feel deeply and they don't know how to express their pain, so they think some magic pill is gonna, well, yeah, it ups the dopamine in your brain, but then when you don't have the dopamine through the medication, then you relapse and suicide rates go way up. So now you're dependent on this pill, when you could have just looked at why the depression's there in the first place. Depression is basically anger turned inward, and you're not happy with your current reality. Well, change it. You have the power to change it. But also, yes, I do understand that people have severe depression where they cannot even function and leave the house because they have this giant dark cloud that surrounds them. I myself feel like that often. I understand there are circumstances where you absolutely need the medication, but I'm saying for everybody else who is on a more holistic alternative path, there is another option, and it's called expressing your authentic emotions through art and music. So I challenge you, the next time you feel really shitty, or even really happy, I want you to tune in with your body and really sit down and think about how this emotion wants to be expressed. You can close your eyes, you can visualize it. Sometimes to me it looks like a giant tsunami or a tidal wave that's just took me under the undertow, and I'm so far down in the depths of my own underworld in the water, I can't even breathe. It's heavy. And being a part of the clearing generation, what I mean by that is Pluto and Scorpio generation, people that were born from 1983 to 1995, our generation especially is designed to be the clearing generation. So you, especially your generation, this generation, should try this on for size, meaning sit down, feel what you're feeling completely, and tune in and ask, how does this emotion want to be expressed artistically or musically? And you will immediately get, well, I just really want to paint how I feel. And be authentic in your creation, meaning no one has to see it. You can literally paint a picture of you hanging yourself, because that's how you authentically feel in the moment. And then when you're done, you step back and see what a dark picture that was. But I guarantee you, you'll feel lighter, because you've just expressed how you really feel. And no one has to see it. You can burn the picture when you're done if you want to. I share my stuff. So for me personally, I'm going to school for performing arts. So I'm learning how to play guitar and piano and sing. So my own medicine is using my voice to heal, which is creatively. So when I feel like shit, when I feel suicidal and I just can't take this world, because we do live in the emotional dark age, it's very heavy right now. Being a completely holistic person on the path and being like sober and really feeling for the collective, it is fucking hard. So I pick up my guitar and I sing about how shitty I feel in the moment. And guess what? I feel better when I'm done, and no one has to hear it. It's your own personal tool that I'm giving you now, that the next time you feel shitty and emotionally triggered, you will learn from your creation. So the other day I was really missing my mother. She's been dead for almost 10 years. And on a personal note, I lost her to basically what I would call suicide, her killing herself slowly through drugs and alcohol and being prescribed antidepressants. So I was really missing her, and I was really feeling depressed and in despair, because the loss of your mother is, I mean, it sucks. The loss of anyone sucks. But anyway, I'm being personal. So because of my emotional state, I felt so shitty and sorry for myself that I didn't have any feminine, older type of motherly figure in my life. And I'm really missing that femininity. That I wrote a song about missing my mother. And I spent the whole damn day writing the song, rewriting the song, editing the song, and singing the song and recording it. And by the end of the day, I not only felt better, I got to record a finished song. So that way, if I'm actually trying to ever make an album, I now have a song that I can pull out of my ass. So, anyway, I hope this has helped you a little bit about explaining the emotional body and how all of the water in the universe is a direct reflection of our emotional body. And a little bit about your own emotions and what clearing your own emotions does. Not only do you raise in vibration, because you don't have to escape using drugs and alcohol, because you're fully authentic and you feel intensely and you're proud of it, and you don't need to go reach for the drugs and the alcohol and the distractions. You can sit in your shit and you can face it, and you can know that you're clearing for the collective. This very planet is a living entity again, and you volunteered to come down here. You volunteered to clear the planet. It's a heavy burden and a heavy task, but you can do it, because if I can do it, anyone can do it. And I can tell you all day long about my traumatic childhood trauma background, but that's why I'm here today talking to you right now. Healer, heal thyself. This is how I heal myself. This is the services I'm offering the community: emotional clearing guide, shadow work counselor, and I do shadow work astrology. So I own my path as the dark goddess, and hopefully this video helps a person or two. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at whitewolfalchemy13@gmail.com. I will probably have more videos on emotional clearing. Thank you so much, and blessed be.